Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and today we are going to do a very fast video about the trinkets. Some of them are actually missing from this list, but don't worry, I'm going to tell more or less which ones I think are good and which ones are not that good, but the number is not that high anyway, and most of them are very strongly tuned, let's say. Now, for the trinkets themselves, they are on this post from Go Ahead, and you can also go inside of the PTR and check them. There are more. So there is one that missed here from the dungeon ones. It's called something Lily, whatever. Just treat it like a house of cards. It has 1.5 minute cooldown and it gives some mastery. Now, as for these ones, this Essence Gorder and the Food Dispenser, I think, are Delve trinkets from, and these are kind of almost all Delve trinkets. This one may be very good in dungeons or places where you can get the 15 fragments very fast if they don't have any internal cooldown reduction or whatever. But for the most part, the other are not that good. Because remember, at least for subtlety, the 2 minute trinkets are not really something you want. If the target is an ethereal, it is whatever. This is just random damage, and then random some damage. Don't really care about those. Now, most of these are from the raid itself, and the Nethergate, same thing. He's just some damage and screams of whatever. I don't know how this works, kind of, but it doesn't seem that strong when we tried it. Antenna is just very solid, crit, and it can proc more than once if it procs on your cooldowns. You notice it quite a bit, like now critical change. When it has high stacks, you get like something like 17% crit. This is also can get quite gnarly. The Forge, this is a very interesting item. If you remember something like Irideus from Dragonflight or Ashes, also that also decayed. Now they may change how this decays or how it works. Right now it's very strong at the beginning, and of course it tampers out. And our damage profile, it goes the other way. We begin a little bit weak, then we stack Flawless Forms and Flagellation stacks, and then we go big. It may still be worth if you use it in combination with the prism that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. The projector is just some damage. It has haste, so it's very unlikely that we ever use it as up. Intellect trinkets, not that important. This seems a trinket that is shared for hunters and intellect classes. I don't really care that much. It's good for them because it gives crit. Now, this is the trinket that I wanted to talk about. Unyielding Nether Prism. You have 100% uptime and good RNG. You can fully stack this in around 3 minutes. It ends up being 2.5 minutes because 150 times. It just procs instantly when you get the cooldown thing. And it gives a lot of agility or strength per stack. Let's say this is a Spy Masters, but with less stacks, but super strong power. Most specs can use it with their cooldowns and something like that, but Subtlety can do something cool, something interesting. You can use 2 trinkets, and for example, use the Forge or the Lily on pool, and then on 1 minute and 30, you have quite high stacks because it's 90, and you will be able to use this with a lot of agility, and you kind of don't lose any cast. Then for the 3 minutes one, you have the Forge back. Of course, there is like 1 minute where Forge does nothing, but as our spec goes super high, and then we don't really do that much damage, and then super high, having a strong trinket every cooldown is good. There is also another way to think about, and that is you can move damage from one phase to another. Remember places like just the last raid had one Arm Bandit and Moxie, where you could kind tamper out the damage on the last places, or even when you are killing with your guild, you kind of want to have everything ready for when the interface starts, and then you go into the last phase, and you could have a fully stacked Nether Prism going into that interface and have a lot of value as a raider. Now, what is the problem here? Of course, if you have it fully stacked, it is doing nothing apart from damage, but we will need a lot of trying and testing. This is nothing crazy. It's kind of like more of a tank trinket, but can also has it uses likely Mythic Plus. It's only 1 minute, and you have like Uh, let's say you can tank up to 2 million damage extra. Not bad. This is something whatever, and it's also agility, so you don't really care about it. Strength trinkets, we are not a strength class. Agility trinket, this is like super execute trinket. Maybe there is one boss where it's very important to have damage at the end, and then you can go double up. Go with Cosmic Hunt and also go with the Prism, and then you go balls to the walls. You skip one cooldown use with the trinket, and then this is also doing damage all of the time. Healing trinkets, we don't really care about those, and tank trinkets, same thing. There may be some other trinket that is kind of decent that I have forgotten or it's not here. But for the most part, I think as a rogue, you kind of want at least the prism and the lily kind of, and maybe the cosmic hunt and the antenna are also very, very valuable. Now the forge is something that I would like, but it may not be as strong as I talked about. But if there is any boss like Smolderon, for example, where you want damage all of the time, or you have asynchronous damage needed, like you need damage on like at pull and then at 1 minute instead of 1.5. You could save two dances and use it the Nether Prism, and then you just delay your cooldowns and use the Forge again at 2 minutes. A lot of things to think about, but in the end, we will say which ones are best for which boss and how to play them. So don't worry about that. Have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video.